if you choose friends wisely, they will actually lead you. They will actually go with you in the right directions. Friends who are not going to make you lose your way, make you turn around and turn your back on things you actually want to do. That was very helpful for me. And academic journey is still going on. Currently in year 3, everything is smooth. I cannot say it's very hard anymore. Yeah, it's very smooth. I love it. Yeah, I love it at the university. And I'd say from home.
Is it more about motivation or is it discipline?
Thank you. Actually, the first question is very much tricky and very hard, like motivation and discipline. For me, I actually believe that.
What if I told you that you were never a bad student, you were just never taught how to study? Welcome to another episode of the African Learning Link. I am your host, Mary, and today our topic is study and student life. Today I've come with a bunch of guests, and I would like to give them a chance to introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Esther. I'm a student from pharmacy, currently in year 3, and honored to be here. Thanks.
Hello, once again, our viewers. I know you're all wondering why I'm a guest today. It's just because I'm always the host, but for today, we decided to have a change, and I'm the guest because some experiences are better shared in guest mode. And I believe you all know me. I'm Noella, pharmacy year 2. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our guests, for being here today. And as you've heard, our topic today is study and student life. There is so much to explore about being a student and what life is like at the university. And I hope all of you have something to share, because today I not only have year 1 students, I am a year 1 student, of course, and I am still exploring what university life is like. But today I have a student from year 3 and another student from year 2. I believe they have had so much of experience compared to the one that I have had here in the university. So today, I would like to introduce some kinds of learners that we have in the academic system before I would go to questions that I have for my guests today. So we have these kinds of learners. One are the kinetic learners. We also have the visual learners, and we have the auditory learners. All these kinds of people try by all means to make sure that they use their skills that are God-given to become good students. So, and with the question that we started before, that what if you were never a bad student, you were just never told how to study? Or what if you were just never told what your studying method or what kind of learner you were? So I'm going to start right here with our student, Esther. Esther, I would like to ask you to take us through about your life at the university. I also want you to tell us what kind of learner you are. And I also want you to tell us if there was a time that you ever felt like you were not a good learner, and how did you cope with such situations? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That's kind of a bunch of questions, but I'm going to try to answer all of them. Yeah. The first one, you were asking me about my life as a student, as a university student. In year 3 currently is good, but my journey has been a long journey from year 1. I could say it was a very hard journey. Yeah. It wasn't very convincing. It wasn't very promising. I came to the university as a student for pharmacy. I actually didn't want to study pharmacy. I wanted to do medicine.
Wow.
Yeah, medicine, because every child is growing up wanting to be a doctor, and my mom is a doctor, so I wanted to actually go in her steps. Yeah.
That is so passionate.
I know.
Yeah.
Thanks. I grew up wanting to be a doctor. And after doing the high school national examination, I had good marks, I had good grades.
Wow.
And I went for the medicine exam. And after the results came out, I found myself in pharmacy, like they gave me pharmacy. At first, I was frustrated. I didn't want to study pharmacy. I didn't want to study anything other than medicine. I
Wow.
wanted to be a doctor, of course.
Yes.
But then I decided there's no other choice. You know, it's already given to me, so I'm going to just do what they gave me. So I came to the university unwillingly, studying pharmacy, of course. And from home, people were talking about how pharmacy is hard, how pharmacy is a lot of things, a lot of modules.
Yeah.
I was so scared. But then I had to do it. So I came to the university in first year, not knowing anybody from the campus. It gets very hard, yeah. So I was on my own in a new area, and I didn't know anything else in Huye. I haven't been in Huye before, so it was very hard. But one thing I kept on doing from even the time I started studying as a young girl is keep going on, even when you don't want to, even when you feel like you want to stop. You have to like keep going on, because life doesn't stop when you don't get what you want. Life doesn't stop. And they say God gives you a chance to maybe explore new things other than from what you wanted. Maybe you can grow in that field, maybe you can grow in this field. So I kind of motivated myself. I went from year one. The modules were very hard. They were very, very, very hard. I remember this one module, mathematics and physics. Actually, I did physics in major, and so physics was not that bad. But when you get to the level of university, things start changing. You feel like, this was not my major. I think I was wrong. I was wrong. But now when mathematics came in, I was so scared. I was like, this is not my thing. Maybe I took the wrong way. Maybe I took the wrong time. And I was getting to get worked on because the modules was very hard. And I started to think, maybe my parents won't like this. The grades I'll be carrying home, they are not going to be good. But one thing about school life is that you don't have any other choice other than studying, because that's exactly what you came to do. So you have to study. I had to study, whether I like it or not. In my free time or in the time I'm occupied, I had to narrow down my list of things that I wanted to do so that I can focus on studying, because those modules, you cannot deal with them and deal with the other life. That is not very, very, very important. So I decided to do that, and luckily, I don't know if I should say luckily or effortly, because I put so much effort in studying. I was done with year one, and the journey was very, very hard. But with the right people, with the right time, everything that you do in the right time and the right place eventually comes out rewarding. So it was a very hard journey. Now, in year two, I'd say I have already got used to university life and people and the lecturers, things, this kind of lecturer, the questions he's going to say it, the way they'll be setting questions, the order of questions in exam. It wasn't that very hard in year two. But I can't say it was simple, but it's doable. It's not that bad. You try your best, you keep going. I say consistency. I say resilience, because you need that. You don't need to give up. You don't need to give up just because you see others are excelling things you don't know, because you also have something that is better, that you can do better than others. So that's what kept me going in year two. And I remember this one module. I loved it so much. It was anatomy and embryology, I guess, 2 modules. And physiology, So because I grew up wanting to be a doctor, I liked everything that has to do with human, the body, the nature of the body, everything. So in the modules that I loved, I could do my best, because I know maybe if this other module comes out and I'm not really expressing myself better than this, so let me just focus on this that I do best, so that I can it can raise my other modules. So it's not that I sacrificed other modules for the ones I do better, but I didn't want to go beyond what I could do better just because something else is not going well. So I did my best, and year two was also done. Wow. That's very nice. That was very nice. And I had good grades. I was so thankful for the lecturers, for the friends again, because, friends, if you choose friends wisely, they will actually lead you. They will actually go with you in the right directions. Friends who are not going to make you lose your way, make you turn around and turn your back on things you actually want to do. That was very helpful for me. And academic journey is still going on. Currently in year 3, everything is smooth. I cannot say it's very hard anymore. Yeah, it's very smooth. I love it. Yeah, I love it at the university. And I'd say from home, from the moment that I was given pharmacy, if I was to go back to actually choose again the things I want to do in university, now I choose pharmacy. I wouldn't go for medicine again, because I learned that helping people or being a doctor is not just about medicines or being able to do surgery, because that's what I wanted to major in. It's not about seeing people, getting to actually touch them physically. You can also help them through dispensing or dispensing drugs. Yeah, you can also give them counseling, like, the doctors giving counseling, pharmacists and everything. And I love it here in pharmacy. The second question was what again?
What kind of learner do you think you are?
Okay. I would say I'm more of a visual learner, because if I see something, if it passes around my eyes, I will actually remember that thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. But if I haven't seen it and you're just going to explain it for me, you're just going to be talking, I don't think I'll be able to catch that. But if I saw it with my own eyes, even if it comes in the exam, I'll be remembering. Like, I have this way of keeping pictures inside my head, if I can say. So I'm more of a visual learner.
Wow, that is really so nice, Esther. Your academic journey is really so touching, and I know you are relating so much to one of our viewers today, because most of the learners find difficulty while coming to the university. But I also want to ask you this one question. Was there any time, because according to your story, it seems, hard, but it's going on smoothly, most especially when coming to how you blended into the environment, the campus and the lectures, everything went on smoothly. But there is this question. In high school, you did well, hoping to be a doctor.
Yes.
But I know there is that one time where you always feel like you were never smart enough. Have you ever had that time? And
of course.
What was it like?
Of course, definitely.
Yeah.
That time when I felt like I wasn't smart enough, I had that quite many times. And I felt like maybe this was not my calling. Maybe I should have gone for something different. Maybe pharmacy is not my thing. Maybe physics is not my thing. Maybe biology is not my thing. And it feels really, really wrong. It feels like you have lost your way. It feels like you're very, very lost, and it feels like everyone else is doing better than you. And one thing about feeling not smart enough is that you always feel less confident, like as if you don't know what you're doing, as if what you're doing always feels wrong. If you're going to study and maybe don't get to actually understand something better, you feel like, this is because I'm not smart enough. I knew I should have gone for something different. I knew I should have done that. But feeling not smart enough is usual. I cannot say it's very, very different, or it's a thing that is not really normal to any student. Any student will just feel not smart enough, and they'll feel like they are wrong. They feel like everything they're doing is falling apart. But overcoming that is very, very crucial. Like, it's very important. You don't have to always keep yourself boxed up, thinking that you're not this, you're going to be this, you're not going to be this. I would say, instead of comparing yourself to someone else, just focus on improving, because you're better in your own ways, and they are better in their own ways. Exactly. They also, maybe you don't know, but they also don't feel smart enough. So you don't have to keep yourself boxed up. Like, go out, do things you like, and focus on improving instead of comparing yourself. Don't go around comparing yourself to anybody, Maybe your colleagues are doing better, your classmates are doing better, but you also have something you do better. Yeah. And I would say keep on learning, consistency. Something that you do not understand, you ask. Yeah. Do not hesitate to ask for help, because you're not going to study for yourself. You're not going to keep keep yourself studying alone and expect things to actually come for you, to actually come to you. No, they won't. Because we have many different students in the class. They are clever on this module and clever on this module. So if you feel like you're not better in a certain module, just ask for help. It's not shameful. It's very nice to ask for help, and you actually get to understand it better when someone tells you, when someone explains it for you. And the other thing I'd say about not feeling smart enough is keep yourself busy. Don't let the time that you should be using to do things go around without doing anything in that time. Don't let the time go around you. Use the time wisely. You're a student for a reason. You're studying pharmacy for a reason. Don't let that purpose go to waste. Use the time, because pharmacists, and I'd say in any module, not just pharmacists, in any course, accounting, maybe BITs, do your best. Do your best in the lessons. Try your best, and don't underestimate any module. Do this, and try to do better in everything. You eventually feel smart enough, because now I feel like maybe I'm not better in something, but I can do this better, and I know this one will not do better than me, so I'm better at this, he's not better at this. So if we share, you're going to make me better, and I'm going to make you better. So I don't feel not smart enough nowadays, but I used to feel like that in year 1, year 2, but now I know something to do, and I know how to do it.
That's really very nice. And our dear viewers, I think we've learned a lot from Esther. And if there's any student out there that is willing to come to the university, someone that is planning on joining maybe in the August intake or some other intakes that are coming, something that I have learned so much from Esther today is consistency. We are never going to feel like we are good, but consistency is going to take us to where we want to go to. And most of the times we are not whom we always dream to be, but when we fall somewhere along the way, we get up and pick up the pieces that we have, and from there we can figure out along the way who really we are. Thank you so much, Esther, for such an insightful conversation. It was really good, and I have learned so much from you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I would like to go to my next guest today, Sister Nanela. So today, our question for you is, do you believe in motivation, or it is more about discipline? That is one question. And then, how do you balance school with social life, family expectations, and what were some of the challenges that came from poor balance? So we know that you have been to the university for some while now, and you have family pressure, of course, as a girl. People want you to get married at some age, and there is a lot that is coming along with being a girl and being a student. But still, you have managed to overcome. That's why you're in year 2 right now, and you're heading to your year 3, doing a tough course, of which you are managing to balance that pressure and your academics. How are you doing that? And is it more about motivation, or is it discipline?
Thank you. Actually, the first question is very much tricky and very hard, like motivation and discipline. For me, I actually believe that it's a balance of them, because discipline is easier said than done. Because you set goals, like early in the morning, you be like, I would do this. But in the middle of the day, you are low on energy. You don't feel like doing anything. So it's when you have that thing that is motivating you, you somehow get a way to keep moving, keep pushing, even when you meet some things that really test your discipline. Yeah, so I think it's more of a balance, not saying like discipline does a lot to it and then motivation. It's like 50-50 to me. That's what I believe. And then about managing my social life and school, that's very hard actually, because sometimes I even ask myself that, because I'm a person who likes getting engaged in so many things. It's hard to find that I'm free on my schedule. I'm always class, reading, clubs, some clubs I attend to, church activity, the African Learning Link activities, I'm a leader in different organizations, so I have a lot on my plate. But somehow, I managed to balance that because I know my priorities. First and foremost, I'm a student. And somewhere in the future, my grades will matter a lot more than what I've been doing. So I can say that I'll check my academic schedule, whether I have any pending cuts, assignments, or exams. And then if they are there at the moment, I'll put much focus on that. And then maybe reduce the time I spend in different organizations, different extracurriculum activities. I reduce the time. And then when the academic pressure is not that much, I'll focus on the extracurriculars because they are also of very much value. Because let me give an example about my public speaking. Well, I used to be a very good public speaker, like O-level primarily, but when I reached my advanced high school, the academic pressure was too much. I completely gave up the debate club, everything. So when I came back to the university, I was back to square one. I would not speak without shivering. I would forget the words mid-sentence and all that. And I know that that's something I will surely need. I will have to do interviews for maybe my visa, some jobs, scholarships, all that. And they are very important. So I need to work on my public speaking and all that. So I took the time to know my passions and what I really want. Because at the university, there are a lot of activities going on. There are choirs, there are sports, there are clubs, there are organizations, there are a lot. So I chose what really mattered to me, what was going to add value to me, something that I would go to do not just for the case of showing up, just knowing that it's adding value to who I am and who I'll be in the future. So it's easier to manage that with that kind of mindset. And about my family and the pressure of being a girl and stuff, it mainly came around about the course I'm doing because, we're spending 5 years. So 5 years is a whole long time, really. We're spending 5 years and then we'll have to find jobs, to be financially stable before we could move forward to the next stage of life, which might be marriage. So my family at first were like, girl, who is going to marry you at 30? Menopause will be approaching, so you better find an easier course because I had an admission to do something very short and easier in some good university, not University of Rwanda, but I chose to stay here because I wanted to be a pharmacist, really. I wanted to be a pharmacist regardless the time it would take me or the energy and all that. So I somehow convinced my family. And the fact that my nuclear family is supportive, that makes it good. Mainly the pressure comes from the extended family. The aunts, the grandmothers, people like that are the ones who bring a lot of pressure. But once the people inside the home support you, you feel secured. So, that's how I do it.
Thank you so much. And I think what I've picked so much from Sister Nanella is that school comes first. Our academics come first. And if there is any student, whatever thing that they should learn is that their academics are number one. And that is the sole reason as to why they're here. All the other things come next. And I've also seen that you are enjoying the fact that you come from a supportive family. That is really nice. And it is rare to get a family that is supportive. However, if your family isn't supportive, what do you think a student who has no supportive family should do?
Thank you. Yeah. Sometimes there is something I read somewhere online, and they visual description of it was an orange pushing itself like with its peels. So sometimes in life you have to support yourself, because sometimes our families do not see the bigger pictures like the ones we see, because they are not in our shoes. So when you have an unsupportive family, what I would advise a student like that is to focus on yourself, because after all, the life is yours. And you have to live your life. If your family, you really want to do pharmacy and they want you to do English, in the future it's you who is going to suffocate with that English, trying to find a job, trying to do what. And it's easier to do things that you really enjoy than to do things just because there's no other choice. Now, if you do not have a supportive family, that's where self-motivation comes in, self-discipline, and you can get a circle of good friends like your classmates, so that they can motivate you in that time you really need it, and you cannot get it from your family.
Sure. Thank you so much. There you have it. You have to support yourself. You have to push yourself. You have to have that life. You should have a line that is drawn out for yourself. Something that you are already following, that you know takes you somewhere, because you alone sees the vision. The other people don't see what you are seeing. Thank you so much, Sister Nell. I also wanted to ask you something more from what you just said. So you talked about balancing, and of course in your balance you had a greater percentage given to academics. And my question comes in, what do you do? Sometimes, what are some of the challenges that you got from poor balance? Was there a time that maybe because you had given academics so much percentage compared to your extracurricular, you had to face some of the challenges because of poor balance?
Yeah, there was surely a time where it was like that. And actually, it did not come from me giving a lot of time to academics. It rather came from giving a lot of time to some other things. I am a religious girl. I like being in church and all that. But also, when it becomes too much, it can cause some problems. Because there was a time you'd find some church activities like they're closing with classwork. I have cut, but today at the church there is adoration that will last 2 hours. And the Christian girl in me will be like, go to church. Go to church. God will figure it out. I'll go to church, and tomorrow I'll be sweating blood in the exam. Sometimes I'll be like, choir activities. I know I should be in class, but I'm like, I can easily skip this lecture and go with my choir to this place. So that misbalance of giving priority, I understand going to church is very good. Being religious is very good and very helpful. But the moment it gets out of control, like it becomes the main focus of your daily life, maybe unless you are a nun, but if you're not someone whose daily occupation is being
around the church.
Around the church, and then you want to give it like 70% of your time, you'll surely face consequences.
Sure.
You surely face consequences.
Yes.
So that, like, it made me like really fail. I failed my first semester in year 1. I did not fail too much, but I failed compared. So I looked at it and thought about it. So tried to analyze and see the problem. Why am I failing? And I realized that I was spending a lot of time in church activities instead of going to my books. So I tried to reschedule my activities so that I know that first and foremost I'm a student, a Christian student, but at the moment the main focus is studies, not being in church 24/7.
Thank you so much, Sister Nanel. And if there's anything that I've learned from you, and if there is anything that I know as a Christian girl, is that God doesn't need all our time. He gave us all 6 days to labor. There is only one day that we have to worship God. That is like too small of our time, meaning that we have to do all the other things. Take care of God's creation as a pharmacist, struggle, save lives, and then go to church once a week. Maybe if there are some other activities that you participate in, you can go to church maybe twice, but you have your academics. That should be the soul of why you are in the university. Thank you so much.